Hey you guys, it's Monica and welcome back. So today we're doing another edition of Craft and Tell. This time I'm going to be telling you guys about how I ended up in the projects in New Orleans. And so in honor of Mardi Gras being in just a couple of weeks, and we will be closed for pretty much the entire Mardi Gras holiday. The store will be closed from February 23rd through Mardi Gras Day, March 1st. We will open back up on the 2nd. So if you see anything that you would like, get it now. So yeah, I could actually sit and talk for hours about how I ended up in the projects, but I'm gonna just give you guys like a few stories. And so you're like probably like, Mon, what do you mean how you ended up in the projects? How do you end up in the projects? You know, I'm not a project baby or anything like that, and this is no shade to anyone who did grow up in, government housing or anything like that, because you can go from government. We used to, at Alabama and we say from the hill to anywhere, so you can be from the projects to anywhere. But yeah, I didn't, I grew up in a nice home, nice neighborhood, and I guess I was kind of just green to the world. And so I had moved to New Orleans in 2013. I had lived with family for a little while. Then I got my own place on the West Bank of New Orleans. I lived in Harvey. Shout out to everybody from the West Bank. And so then I was like, oh, I'm working, and I truly believe in living, working, and playing all in the same place. You shouldn't go into a city and make your money there, but then go back to your suburb and spend your money there. I don't believe in that. I do believe that you should live, work, and play all in the same place, because you don't benefit from that economy and don't add to it. But that's a whole nother thing. That's not what this video is about. This is not about my personal beliefs. I'm gonna tell you my personal story. And so in 2015, I had just gotten married, and me and my husband were looking for a place to stay. And so I'm like, I really want to live in the city. Like, I want that city life. I want to be downtown. I want to be near the French Quarter and all that stuff. And so I found a place. It was called Iberville Basin. It was new construction. It used to be the location of the Iberville Projects. If you're from New Orleans, you're very well the Iberville Projects. It's notorious. It's like the other ones, Magnolia, all of those. And so, and so I straight up asked the lady, I'm like, is this still like government housing? She was like, it's mixed income. Only about 25% of the housing will be, lower income residents. I said, okay, cool. I can agree with that. And of course, me being 23, very green, not knowing really like how capitalism and the economy works like I do now, not realizing just because you live in government housing, you're not a bad person. I know that now, but like, you're always said to believe like you live in the projects, like it's bottom of the barrel. You don't want to be there, all this other stuff. But let me tell y'all. So we end up moving in. We moved in, and immediately I'm like, wait a minute. Babe, we in the hood. We are in the hood. We had a beautiful, beautiful new construction apartment, 14-foot ceilings, but we was in the hood. Blocks from the French Quarter. Loved it. Could look out my window and see Canal Street, 1 block off Canal. I was perfect location. And so I knew we was in a bad situation. Well, not too long after living there, and so our bedroom windows were kind of like at bed level. So like they weren't like, normally your windows are like above where your bed would be, but ours were kind of like at the same level as our bed. One night, maybe about 3:00 in the morning, I hear bang, bang, bang. Me being the child that I am, I roll out of bed, bear crawl into the bathroom. My husband is literally sitting up in the bed laughing at me. I said, babe, they outside shooting. They shooting. He was like, I don't think they're shooting. I think that was a noise. I said, you better get in this bathroom with me, because like we don't know what's going on. Like, because of where the window was, I had an extreme fear of someone shooting through the window and piercing one of our heads and dying instantly. I know I'm crazy. Don't judge me. And so my husband's in the bathroom with me now, laughing at me like something is funny. And so after about 5 minutes, when I think the scene has calmed down, I go, tiptoe to the window, and sure enough, I look across the window. There's a Mercedes C-Class sitting across the street with 2 bullet holes in the windshield and 2 bullet holes in the side door. I said, see, I told you. I said, we are in the ghetto. We are in the hood, baby. It is dangerous. But I had a great apartment, a great location. It was only 15 minutes from work, so I wasn't moving. And my rent, compared to what I'm paying now in Colorado, my rent was delectably affordable. And so I'm like, I ain't moving. And so fast forward a little bit. Now, because now I'm like, oh, we're in the projects, and a lot of people have children. They wanted to build a playground in the hood. Where do they want to build it? And we had gated parking. Where do they want to build this playground, you ask? Inside of the parking lot. Let me remind y'all, these kids, every morning, if I could, I'm gonna have to post pictures on my Instagram stories. Every morning I will wake up. I used to work 5:32, so I would leave for work at about 5:10. Every morning I would wake up and there would be fucking fingerprints all over my goddamn car. children used to play in the parking lot because, of course, they didn't have a playground. But, like, the parking lot still ain't the place to put it, bitch. Don't put it here. Like, I'm protective of my little Honda. And so when they put the playground inside of the parking lot, when I tell you it used to be daddy daycare in that bitch. Kids were everywhere. It got to the point where the other neighbors, because, like, we knew who each other was that was paying market rate. And, again, this isn't shade, but we were the only ones that had jobs. We were the ones catching each other in the parking lot at 5 o'clock in the morning with our business casual clothes on going to work. And so we all got together and we wrote a letter to city council because we were like, our cars are getting damaged. We can't get in and out of the parking lot because there are always children everywhere. There are children out here taking care of children. Like, why am I seeing a 6-year-old carrying a 3-month-old? Like, baby, get your kids. Where's your mom? Where's your mother? What is going on here? So we did alleviate that situation. And so it was, when I tell y'all living in the projects is wild. I promise you not. I'm not even lying to y'all. There was a woman there, and I don't ever stun on no one's hustle. You got to use what you got to get what you want. And always, even like with selling glitters and tumblers, if you can make a market for something and you can make $1 from it, I'm not ever going to be mad at you. One of the kids' mothers, no lie, was a lady of the night. Well, she was actually a lady of the day because she serviced most of her clients in the daytime. I would come home from work, at this point it's about 2:30, pull in the parking lot, and there would be a kid banging on their door. Like, I lived in the building. So I lived in like the high-rise building, but there also were townhouses on like 3 sides, and then there was a building on one side. I lived in the building that was on the one other side, and the part that enclosed our block were all townhouses. He would be banging on the door of his townhouse, and I'm like, babe, why won't she let her kid in? He was like, oh, you didn't know? She's a prostitute. She's selling coochie. I said, oh, well, damn. Mama got to get that $3 worth of rent that's due. And Entergy, they only pay about 65-70% of your bill. So you got to get the $10 for the utilities. I get it. But would literally leave her kid outside banging on the door to get in. I'm just like, what is going on? So then another shooting story. And this is when I'm like, all right, it's getting bad out here. 2017, we have the NBA All-Star game. This was actually, I don't know if it was our first or second All-Star game. But my husband, he calls me at like 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, hey, you want to go out? Because he's still at work. He's like, hey, you want to go out? I was like, yeah, I'll get dressed. I'll get ready, and then we'll go out when you get back. Cool. It's New Orleans, and it's All-Star games. Nothing's closing until like 4. And so he calls me, and he was like, hey, I'm walking home right now. Like, I'm 2 blocks away, because my husband worked in the French Quarter. He's like, I'm 2 blocks away. I'll be there in a couple minutes. I'm like, cool. I'll unlock the door. Next thing I know, I hear a fucking shootout outside the goddamn door. Bang, 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 bang. I said, what the hell's going on? So my dumb ass runs to the door because my husband is outside. Like, where is my husband? My husband is outside. And so my husband comes running down the street because we had a door that we lived on the first floor. So we had a door that led outside to Iberville Street. My husband comes running out up our little 3 steps into the house. He's like, oh my goodness, they're shooting. And I said, oh my goodness, when I tell y'all, so after the shooting calms down, I look out the window. There's a parking lot across from me. If you're from New Orleans, you probably know exactly where I lived. There's a parking lot across from me. There is someone I remember this shit, like, you don't forget traumatizing stuff. There is a yellow Camaro that, like, someone who, like, got shot is getting in and driving themselves to the hospital a couple of blocks away. The problem is they left a body on the ground. So me and my husband are sitting here looking at this body on the ground. And again, I'm too scared to approach because I don't, it's like in the school shooting, you don't know where the gunman is. Like, no one, because the police haven't came. Oh, I didn't mention that part. The police haven't came. And so we're looking at this body on the ground. I promise y'all, 51 minutes later, the coroner shows up. Not the police, the coroner. The coroner comes and loads that dead body into their van. I said, oh, this is too much. And not to mention, y'all, living in the projects in New Orleans is wild because, like, there was a Domino's 3 blocks away and they refused to deliver because they were like, oh no, you're in the projects, we're not coming there because we have history, like, we've gotten robbed too many times, we don't deliver there. We're like, hey, but it's like, and so, like, when we first went, we were like, it's not the projects, like, no, this is Bienville Basin, like, it's not Iberville anymore, like, it's a nice neighborhood. Like, they was like, no, we don't deliver there, you can come get it or not get it at all. And this is like before the resurgence of like the surgence of like Postmates and stuff. And so, yeah, it was wild. And then like 2 months before we moved out here to Colorado, there was one more shooting. This time it was actually women shooting at each other. And this one was so bad, they blocked off the street. We were trapped inside of our apartment and could not leave. I said, thank you, Jesus, that I have a job and we are leaving. Because if not, I don't know how much longer I could live in the projects. I love this apartment. I love the location, but I'm not built for this life. And yeah, that's just a taste of the I feel like this is all about violence, but like there's a lot of funny stories that happen in the project, and I could, like I said, I could talk about this for hours. I could literally do like 6 parts, 10 parts of talking about the crazy stuff that happens in the projects in New Orleans, and you would probably be like, damn, especially if you're like me and like don't know anything about the projects or don't actually know someone who's from the projects, and they can be like, oh yeah girl, like that's normal. Like none of this shit was normal to me. I was just like I seen kids fighting and their mothers sanctioning the fight, like, if you gonna hit her, Juicy, hit her then. If you gonna hit her then. And I'm like, I was so that was really upsetting to me because I don't believe in that. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.